Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Board Meeting Recap with Chris Adsit. I'm covering the Arrowhead School Board meeting from Wednesday, February 11th. Now, keep in mind, these are my board members' summaries. These do not represent the voice of the board. This is my commitment to you to stay transparent and keep you informed in case you can't come to the meeting or watch the YouTube recap online. Now, there were four main areas that we covered this evening. The first one was on safety. Second was on facilities and some facility changes. Number 3 was future forward planning, how we look and will operate in the future. And then finally, our school district calendar. How I'll cover it tonight is on the actionable items. So I will give you what was talked about, what was decided, and what we voted on. Then I'll finish with what else did we talk about? And that's important because guess what? That will affect future decisions and votes that will come up. So please pay attention all the way through. First thing was the calendar. The 2026-2027 school year calendar was approved, and there was a decent change in it this year. So the last day of school was moved up to about June 4th. Now that takes about a week off of going into the summer. How we did it is by adding 15 additional minutes to each school day. What that does is it provides more instructional time for our teachers to be with our kids before any type of major assessments happen. So it's only going to help with performance. At least that's the theory. The second thing is that it aligns with our feeder districts, the K through 8s. They usually get out a little earlier. So there's just a lot of consistency reasons for doing it as well. So again, for outcomes and then also savings. Again, buses and stuff don't go as long into the summer. Next, we approved a new maintenance facility. Now, what do you mean? It's like a big garage. So if you're not aware, on the Arrowhead campus, there's a current large storage shed, we'll call it, and it's in pretty bad shape. Now, before I got on the board, the previous boards had agreed to spend some money to shore it up and put in some bracing temporary to keep the structure going, because when they sent it out to bid for replacement, the cost was between $2 to $3 million, depending on the design and the contractor. The administration has done a very good job, especially in the business office, of updating plans, getting new bids, changing the parameters, and finding a way to save over $1.2 million. The building will only cost around $850,000. Major savings to our district, to us as taxpayers. So that's great news. The second part of it is, and this you're going to love, is how we pay for it. We don't have to take it out of our operating income, meaning like our operating checkbook of where we pay bills and where everything comes from. There's a fund in the district called Fund 46. The money in there is reserved for only capital improvement projects. That means over the years, as we are fiscally responsible in funding that, we can take the money out of there without hurting our operational fund. So again, really good news. We get a good structure, great price, and it's pretty much paid for already by district savings. So great news there. Next, facility upgrades for safety. That's right. Facility upgrades for safety were approved this evening. The board voted unanimously. There was a presentation provided with information from the administration on how to beef up our security at both north and south at both entrances. So the vestibules will be getting an update. That work will get performed starting at the end of the spring, the summer, and should be complete by the start of next school year. So I'm very happy to report that we were able to find some good improvements, very value-driven improvements for not a ton of money, and that will be going through. So kudos to the board, the administration, and our contractors for putting that all together. And then finally, we approved a world language program school trip. So for kids that are at a certain level within our language program, they have an opportunity for a trip to both France and Spain in June of 2027. And of course, the board supported that. It's a great learning experience. Okay, those were the things that were voted on. Now we move into the discussion part. I'm glad you hung around. This is important because the items I'm talking about now are the ones that will end up being reported here later with decisions around them. So if you have an opinion on it, please share it with me. Share it with the board. Share it with our administration because your voice matters. We're here to serve you. So I want you to know what we're talking about. First thing, we talked again about the goal for a one building campus. We really need to try and get all kids underneath one roof. There's a lot of reasons for it. Outcomes, student modeling and behavior. Think about it. You come out of middle school, you have no idea how to act like a young adult yet. You're in your own building. Well, if you're all in the same building, you can model the juniors and seniors. God willing, they're all behaving. But you know what I mean. It's another thing there. There's a safety component to it of having them all underneath one roof. There's school spirit, there's school organizations, there's a reduction in duplication of services and funding waste. So that was talked about. So that's kind of a long-term goal. Now, how do we get there? That's still up for discussion. No decisions were made. Part of that discussion, though, comes around transportation and open enrollment. I'll cover transportation because that's quicker, I think. We're part of a consortium. If you're not aware, Arrowhead and the K-8 feeder districts have a current consortium where they contract with Dousman Transportation for the busing for all the districts. And the thought process is they work together to get a better deal because they have better buying power. The challenge comes in when you have districts that have different requirements, say different start times, finish times, or needs. And in our case, we needed to move our schedule up 15 minutes and have more time in the day so that we could reduce time at the end of the school year, be more consistent, save with busing, etc. It's, again, better outcomes. And the superintendents right now, because this is an operational decision, I have been working and discussing different plans on how it works and affects other school districts. They don't have it ironed out yet. They're still working on it. So for those of you taking the bus, hang in there. We're working on it. And the districts are trying to work together to find an amicable solution that works for them all. Hopefully next month we'll have a better update for you. Now, the second part of the One Roof initiative, I'll call it, is a discussion around open enrollment. If you listen to any of my previous updates or some of the talk that's been happening around open enrollment, you'll know that Arrowhead is looking seriously at our open enrollment program and limiting it. So the last meeting I was at, we approved the 36 open enrollment seats for Arrowhead. Now, what is that? Open enrollment seats means we are opening seats for kids that don't live in our community within Arrowhead to be able to come in. And the thought process behind open enrollment in general is that if you have a classroom, say 20 kids, well, there might be room for 3 more and you don't have to add a new teacher. So the thought process behind that program's creation statewide was let other kids from other districts come in if they want to. You get the money from their district to educate them. So you essentially help your budget without adding more expenses. Now that's the theory. But when you're looking for a long-term solution of serving our community, of say having a one roof situation, if you have more kids in your district, you need a bigger one roof. So the thoughts and the discussions that are happening now is, what if we reduce the amount of kids in our school? We can reduce the size and the needs of a one roof solution. It comes with risks. We know that. And one of the questions I asked was, what operationally has to happen to accommodate a reduction in enrollment if a referendum down the road wouldn't pass? Because we can't get small enough to get all underneath one roof now. Some of the ideas that are being thrown around and considered is, well, we could do temporary classrooms. What do you mean by temporary classrooms, Chris? Well, temporary structures. They could be like trailers or something else that would get them all around one campus, one building. That's one solution. Another one could be, well, maybe we split the grades. We keep the freshmen, the 9th graders at South, and we move 10 through 12, sophomore through senior, into North. Helps a little bit with redundancies, helps with some staffing, helps with duplication of services, modeling, etc. That's another idea. And another one that was thrown by was building a big metal structure that could attach to North that would be more like a field house that could have some temporary classrooms in it for the foreseeable future to get us under one roof if this goes through for a significant reduction from any type of a major school expansion. And then it could be repurposed later into something else, like maybe a multi-purpose facility. So again, I'm not saying that we're going in that direction. I'm not saying that the district is proposing that. These are just the discussions that are happening. This is why I do this, so that you can be aware of what's being presented to us and what the board is talking about amongst each other about these different initiatives and potential solutions. So it's very important for you to understand these things. So again, those were the big things that were covered tonight. I hope that you get a chance to come to some of these meetings. But again, safety, facilities, planning for the future, and then our continued work on operation, transportation, open enrollment. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. It's my pleasure to answer them for you. I also hope that you can come to future meetings. If you have any suggestions how I can do this better for you, I hope that you let me know that as well. And otherwise, until then, I will talk with you soon when I have the next update. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for putting me in this position to serve you. It truly is an honor. God bless you and our entire community.